This is the plaintiff,
Scott Lambert. He claims the defendant, who was staying at his place for a few days, maliciously did in his 3 pet goldfish, JR, Lefty, and Lucky Pierre, by eating 2 of them and throwing the 3rd one off the balcony. He's suing for $728.49 for his goldfish, rent, phone bills, and punitive damages. This is the defendant, Philip Ali. He says the whole goldfish incident was just a joke. He had no idea the plaintiff was so attached to his fish, and he did offer to replace them. He's accused of goldfish extermination. What you're about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are the actual people who have already either filed suit or been served a summons to appear in a California municipal court. Both parties in the suit have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
Hello, I'm Doug Llewellyn, and welcome to the People's Court. This is the case of Please Don't Eat the Goldfish. The plaintiff claims that he caught his so-called buddy eating goldfish number 2 and watched in horror as he threw number 3 off the balcony and into the pool. He says they were a gift from his girlfriend, they had sentimental value to him, and the guy is going to have to pay for his malicious deed. The defendant claims that a friend of theirs dared him to eat the plaintiff's goldfish, and in the spirit of fun of that evening, he went along with the gag. He says he felt badly when he realized how close his pal was to the fish, and he did try to make it up to him, but to no avail. Well, will the plaintiff recover for the demise of his pets? That's the question in this case. Let's watch now as Judge Wapner listens to the testimony.
I know you've been sworn. I have read your complaint, sir. The claimed defendant ate your goldfish?
2 of them.
2 of them. How many did you have?
I had 3.
When did this happen, sir?
Oh, about close to 2 weeks ago.
Well, what was there a party going on or something? What?
Well, not really. I had a few people over. It was not a big party, just a few people, and we were standing around and talking. And I went in the bathroom, came out, and there he was, eating one of my goldfish. And I ran over there. I couldn't believe it. And I said, "Phil, what are you doing?" And he said, he didn't say anything. He started laughing. Him and Rich were laughing about it. And then he took the 3rd one out, threw it in the pool. Went out, and I ran down there. I didn't know what to do, and they started laughing again and stuff. And they got it out with a net, started playing with it just to humiliate me, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think it was very funny though.
Was he staying there with you?
He was staying there with me. That was
How long had he been there?
He'd been there about, I think, at that point about 3 or 4 days. He got there Saturday night, and I think it happened on Tuesday night. So it happened. He'd been there like.
Did you eat 2 of his goldfish, sir?
Yes, sir.
You throw the other one in the pool?
Oh, I didn't think it was that serious a thing for a couple of stupid goldfish.
Well, like, why'd you do it?
Well, he dared me to, so.
You dare him to eat the goldfish?
Yeah, I dared Phil to do other things, and based on the seriousness of the occasion, since it was a get-together, we've been to a moth-eating contest.
A what?
A moth-eating contest, sir.
Moth-eating? Who was eating the moths?
Well, I didn't dare Phil to eat a moth that time. We were watching it, but he probably would have. They weren't anyone's pets, and
it makes it different.
There's a contest where I'm from. We met in New Mexico. They have a moth-eating contest every year, and we went and watched it.
We're in New Mexico. I want to be sure not to go.
Oh, no, we don't want to tell you. They could use some tourists.
Okay. So on a dare, you ate the 2 goldfish?
Yes, sir.
Had you been drinking or anything?
We had a beer or so. You know, we had been...
What do you mean, a beer or so?
Maybe 2 beers at the most. I knew what I was doing.
I've heard that song before, 2 beers.
No.
2 beers, did it make you high or anything?
No. It was
just feeling good?
Yeah.
He's been known to do crazy stuff, but I mean, it's kind of different when it's somebody's pet.
Did he know these were your pets?
Sure. We were kind of friends. I mean, you don't just walk in and say, and come to my house and say, "Oh, those are there by accident."
When did you get these goldfish?
My girlfriend gave them to me about 5 months ago.
Are you the girlfriend?
No, I'm his friend. I saw him the day after it happened.
And I was really, I was really upset.
You know what they cost?
40 cents, 39 cents a piece. I mean, that's not the point. And also,
Well, you think he did this maliciously? Because they're your...
Well,
what did he have against you that he would do it maliciously?
I have no idea.
Scott really liked the goldfish, and
Well, I appreciate that, but why do you think he did it to hurt you?
Well, we've had some arguments before, and
were you arguing that night?
No.
Did you argue in the 3 days you were staying there?
Not really, but I think somewhere along the line.
How long have you known him?
Well, I was engaged to his sister at one point, about 4 years ago, and maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
You broke the engagement, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
You were angry with him because he broke the engagement to your sister?
No, Your Honor, that had nothing to do with it.
Well, maybe it did. I mean, after the second fish, and he knew how upset I was after that. He took the third one in, and then he started throwing it up against the window. I mean, to bother me.
How do you know it was to bother you?
Well, it wasn't fun. I wouldn't imagine it was, you know.
Did he do it with anger, or
they were laughing? Yeah.
It was laughing.
And then I left. I was so upset. I came back in, and they were eating my cheddar cheese goldfish. You know those things?
Cheddar. Oh, you mean they're put out by one food company?
And it wasn't funny because I was really mad. I told them at that point. I think he even knew my girlfriend gave them to me. I had names for them. I mean, you know, they were just.
What were their names?
J.R., one of them, Lefty, and Lucky Pierre.
Lucky Pierre was the first one eaten, I'm afraid.
See, and not only that.
That's right.
But
how do you arrive at this $728.49?
Well, 100 of it was rent, and I decided to charge him $20 a night. And the night it happened,
you mean after this happened, you decided to charge
After it happened, I left and came back. I didn't know what to do.
I'd already been there 3 days, and then he wanted to charge me back rent in a few more days, as
and
long
he
as I was
agreed to
going
it,
to stay there.
Did you agree to pay him rent?
Well, I just told him I would, and I thought he'd cool off, and we talked it off in the
How
morning.
many more days did you stay?
2 more days, and
that
when
night
I told him...
and the next night, and then I said...
When I told him I wasn't going to pay rent, that we should talk it out and be friends again, that's when he just got really mad and kicked me out and said, you know...
But you had no agreement for him to pay rent before this incident happened?
No, plus he made some phone calls, too, that some of that's from, I estimated.
You make some phone calls, long-distance phone calls?
Yes.
How much?
I don't know. I called my brother and my sister.
One thing I would like to say is that...
Did you agree to pay him for 2 nights' rent?
Well, I told him I'd go ahead and pay him for as long as I was going to stay there.
Did you tell me to pay for the 3 nights you'd already stayed there?
Yes. He wasn't very rational. He was so mad.
Did you mean it at the time you said it, that you would pay him the rent?
You told me that it was mostly to cool Scott's jets down because he was being irrational and...
What do you mean irrational? They were his pets.
They were his pets. All right.
Okay.
Have you replaced the goldfish?
I don't want them.
I offered to replace the goldfish.
You don't want any...
No. I mean, if, you know...
They had a lot of sentimental value.
I did offer to replace them, and he wouldn't take it.
You can't get those goldfish back.
That's the good point.
Yeah, that's true.
He's already digested 2 of them.
That's right.
And one of them is probably drowned.
The third one we did give a decent burial to.
Take a short recess. I'll come back and give you my decision.
We're the Smothers Brothers, and when you think of me...
You think of me because we go together.
Like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And their buttermilk biscuits.
You know, no one cooks chicken the Colonel's special way.
And their buttermilk biscuits are special, too. They're made from fresh scratch.
Fresh from scratch.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, they do it right.
Their buttermilk biscuits so fluffy and light.
Light, light, light. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Their biscuits made from scratch.
What a match! They do chicken right.
They say love conquers all, but one thing it won't conquer is a drinking problem. Because for better or for worse, alcoholism is a disease, and diseases don't respond to good intentions. They respond to treatment. Call Care Unit, one of the most successful private alcoholism and drug treatment programs in the country, and give him back the gift he once gave you, himself. The disease is alcoholism. The answer is Care Unit.
On any given day, at any given time, news can happen anywhere in our region. And when it does, Action 7 News is there with correspondents in 10 cities throughout New Mexico and neighboring states. Even correspondents in Washington, D.C. So when news happens, Action 7 News has a reporter nearby to make sure you can see it fast while it's still news. Action 7 News, people in more places showing you more of the news you want to see, not just hear about.
Would you like to save up to 50% on famous brand furniture? Hurry, it's New Mexico's greatest furniture sale ever, going on right now at Sleep World's remodeling sale. 3 truckloads of furniture have arrived and more is on the way. Sleeper sofas from $195, love seats, pits, and sofas up to 50% off. We have no choice. In order to get bigger and serve you better, we must clear our showroom now. Nothing at retail. Come in today and shop Sleep World's remodeling sale. Don't miss out on New Mexico's greatest furniture sale ever at Sleep World for a good night's sleep and all the rest.
My mother-in-law has an expression that's, she says, what goes around comes around. I'm only mentioning it because it takes me back to the days even before I was in college where fraternity boys, I put boys in quotes, they used to eat goldfish. I used to read about it and maybe even saw somebody do it on occasion. I couldn't believe that anyone would still be doing it, but I guess that what goes around comes around. They're his goldfish, and you can't go around eating his goldfish. So he's entitled to the cost of the goldfish, which is $1.17. He's entitled to be paid the telephone calls, which is $27.32. He can't get rent for the past, which was not agreed upon, but after he got angry with you, I think he's entitled to the rent, especially since you said you'd pay him for the 2 days of $40. But what he's seeking here and what you're seeking is punitive damages. You want to punish him. Punitive damages can only be awarded for fraud, oppression, or malice. Now, if he had an argument with you, and you said you didn't have any, but if he did have an argument with you and he's real angry with you, and you saw him go up to the goldfish bowl knowing that those are your pets, and he took them out and ate them, or if he had an argument with you and he came over to your house and on purpose he took the goldfish and killed them for some reason, then you could get punitive damages because that's malice. That's done with malicious intent. We don't have any of that here. His friend challenged him on a prank and said, dared him on a dare, I dare you to eat the goldfish. Well, I started to use a word maybe you wouldn't be too proud of. So merely say that he did a thing that was rather foolish and he ate the goldfish. Well, I don't think it would help my digestive system. I wouldn't do it, but apparently it doesn't hurt him. It was just a prank, so there's no fraud, there's no malice, there's no oppression. The judgment is for the plaintiff for $68.49.
So the plaintiff recovers only a small portion of what he sought here in the People's Court. Mr. Lambert's on his way out of the courtroom. Scott, did it ever occur to you to consult a lawyer to see if you really had any basis for a case here before you came to court?
Well, I was just going on my feelings. You know, I felt that, you know, they were my pets, and I guess I would say that if anybody ever sees him walking around, just lock up your pets, because there's nothing safe.
All right. I'm sorry you couldn't collect, but you understand the law. Thank you very, very much. The defendants are on their way out of the courtroom. Listen, when you had eaten that second fish and you saw he was so upset, why did you go after the third fish the way you did?
Well, it just seemed to be the spirit of the party, and Rich and I were having fun and laughing, and I really didn't understand that he was that upset until after he kicked me out of his house, and that's when I really understood that it was a major problem for him.
Can you understand how somebody can get so upset over something like that?
Not goldfish. If I took an axe to his dog, that's one thing, but, you know, it's goldfish, it's a different story.
I know you're not legally bound, but do you feel there is any way that you can make it up to him, or you have any moral, you know, feeling that you should do something to try and make it up to him?
I'd like to talk it over with him and see if we can become friends again. We've been good friends for quite a while now. I hate to see it break up for a couple of goldfish.
Well, if you hurry, maybe you can catch him. He's in the back of the courtroom right now.
You.
Thanks very, very much. So that'll wrap it up for this case of Please Don't Eat the Goldfish. I see the litigants for our next case are now on their way into the courtroom.
This is the plaintiff, Shirley McHenry, a professional babysitter. She claims that after babysitting for the defendant's 2 children 5 days a week for 6 months, the woman suddenly stopped bringing her kids over without giving her the 1 week's notice.